Shane, we're going into week 9 now, and in the state rankings, we had quite a bit of movement as we saw those games take place, more specifically in 1A than we had in our 2A class rankings. Big losses by Marquette in a relatively very close game. Fulton had a big one with Newman, and of course Brown County getting drilled the way they did.
Shellacked.
Man.
Yeah.
On the other side of the rail, though, for Class 2A, I mean, pretty much the things stayed the same. Aurora Christian did get that fourth loss that was predicted for them to get, but it does put them in a must-win game going into Week 9, which they most likely will get.
Right. Obviously, the whole Class 2A is kind of looking at them, the whole multiplier issue, it's repetitive. We don't have to really talk about it. I mean, there's a lot of teams really hoping that they somehow lose that game, but that doesn't look to be the case. But, I mean, yeah, what is this, the second week in a row now that our top 10 really hasn't lost, per se?
Right.
2A,
I mean, our panel top 10 is stayed intact once again.
Right.
So
That's nice.
It is.
Means you got the right 10 teams, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, Aurora Christian's going to definitely be a player. There is some possibilities of them having the opportunity to play in 3A. But a lot's got to happen that probably won't happen in order for that to happen.
Right.
So, I mean, I would expect AC to stay in 2A right where they're at. Anybody getting their hopes up, otherwise, AC's going to be in 2A. So, but looking ahead towards the playoffs, we will be doing our inaugural playoff show live on Saturday night. We'll kick that off at 7:30 p.m. We'll go through our playoff potential matchups on what we predict we could possibly see in our first round games, and then we will present the actual brackets as they get posted by the IHSA. Also, you can be notified by subscribing to our YouTube video and click the bell right next to the icon. That way you get all of our productions as soon as they post. With that, let's get started on Class 1A. Shane, we're kicking off in Class 1A here, and where we're at, number 1, I have Lena Winslow. They improved to 8-0, again, staying at the top of the rankings for myself. Number 2, I have Forreston, as they also had a huge win over West Carroll, improved to 7-1. At number 3 is Red Hill. They moved to 8-0. And coming in at number 4, I have Athens, as they also moved to 7-1. Number 5, Anawan Wethersfield. They squeaked out a good one there Friday night to also improve to 7-1. And at number 6, I have Princeville at 7-1. Their only loss is coming to Anawan Wethersfield. Number 7, I moved up the Dakota Indians as they improved to 7-1 with their big win over EPC. Number 8 is Warrensburg Latham. They're 5-3, but their 3 losses are all very close losses to 3 state-ranked opponents. Number 9, I have the Marquette Crusaders. They fell last week to 6-2. And coming in at number 10, I have the Fulton Steamers, as they are also 5-3.
Nice, Kyle. I'll start with mine here. My number 1 team for the 5th or 6th week in a row now, Forreston Cardinals, followed by the Lena Winslow Panthers. After that, I have Red Hill at number 3, Athens at number 4, Carrollton, number 5, number 6, Anawan Wethersfield, 7, like you, Dakota after their win against EPC, 8, Princeville, 9, Marquette after their close loss. To West Hancock, I still dropped them quite a bit, even though some people would argue that would be a reason to move them up after a close loss to a highly ranked 2A team. And my number 10 team would be Camp Point Central. I dropped Fulton from my top 10 after their loss to Sterling Newman, but obviously being in the top 10, that's not a bad pick at all.
No, I don't think so either. So our panel is going to go as such. At number 1, we have Lena Winslow with their 44-8 win over Dupec. At number 2 is Forreston as they beat West Carroll 44-6. Number 3 is Red Hill. They beat Lawrenceville 50-0. At number 4 is Athens as they pounded New Berlin 55-14. Coming at number 5 is Carrollton. They beat Route Catholic High School 64-13. Big score there. Hawks weren't letting up in that one. Number 6, Anawan Wethersfield improves to 7-1 as they beat Oneida Rova Mid-County in overtime, 36-35.
Wow.
Number 7 is Princeville as they beat Stark County 35-20. That means Stark County needs to get a win this week in order to make the playoffs. Number 8 is Dakota as they beat EPC 21-6. Number 9 is Marquette. They lost that close one that we were talking about to West Hancock 14-13. And rounding out our top 10 is Fulton as they lost to Sterling Newman, ranked number 1 in Class 2A, 34-6. Coming in, our honorable mention is Brown County as they lost to Pleasant Hill 34-7. Camp Point Central, where you had them at number 10, we have them at number 12 after they beat Greenfield Northwestern 40-6. Number 13 is Warrensburg Latham as they moved to 5-3 after beating Clinton 55-7. Number 14 is Argenta Oriana as they beat Decatur Lutheran 36-22. And coming in at number 15 is the Stockton Blackhawks after their big win over Aquin last week, 16-14. All right, Shane, Class 2A is going to go as such for myself. At number 1, I have Sterling Newman as they improved to 8-0. At number 2, I left West Hancock where they're at as they improved to 8-0. At number 3, I have Gibson City Melvin Sibley. They also moved to 8-0. Coming in at number 4 is Rockridge. So really those top 4 have pretty much been my top 4 the majority of the year. They improved to 7-1. And number 5, I have Tuscola as they moved to 8-0 as well. And there's a possibility that they could potentially drop into the 1A playoffs now. Number 6, Aurora Christian. I have them in there at 4-4. But if you look at their 4 losses, they're to 6A through 8A schools. So
yeah,
you can't really hold that against them knowing where they're going to be in the playoffs.
no, if you want to get mad at the IHSA, not Aurora Christian.
Number 7, Shelbyville, as they improved to 7-1. At number 8, Maroa Forsyth. At number 9, I have Tri-Valley. And rounding out my top 10 is Orion, as all 4 of those teams are all 7-1.
Very nice. Pretty sure we have the same teams again this week, so that's always nice. It lets me know I'm not clearly out in left field here. Number 1, Sterling Newman, like you said, followed up by West Hancock. You know, those 2 teams have really been there all season. Number 3, GCMS. Number 4, Tuscola, potential 1A team. Hopefully not, but we'll see what happens. Number 5, Rockridge, followed by number 6, Maroa Forsyth. 7 for me is Westville. Number 8 would be Shelbyville. 9, Tri-Valley. And 10, the Orion Chargers. Sorry. Yeah, we were talking about that Aurora Christian. You know, just it's no joke. We put out that potential brackets now, and I guess if you want to get mad, IHSA is probably going to be hearing from some potential Oregon fans if that happens to play out. So.
Oh boy, but it's football. It is what it is. Unfortunately, they should revisit the multiplier ranking and how it's affected. Anyhow,
especially with all your competitions in 6, 7,
through 8A.
Yeah. Just come on.
But here we go. Our panel vote. Number 1, Newman, 8-0. They beat Fulton, who is ranked number 8 in Class 1A, 34-6. Number 2 is West Hancock, as they beat number 3 ranked in 1A, Marquette, 14-13. Number 3, Gibson City Melvin Sibley stays perfect with their 61-8 win over Flanagan. Coming at number 4 are the Rockets of Rockridge, as they beat Morrison 42-20. And at number 5 are those Tuscola Warriors. I don't care if they drop into 1A. Bring them on. They're 0-3
Make
against
that
the
state
NUIC.
championship game a little closer.
They beat Macon Meridian 48-7. Number 6 Westville as they beat Hoopston 48-6, and they improved to 8-0. At number 7 is Shelbyville with their 57-0 win over Moweaqua Central A&M. Number 8 is Maroa Forsyth. Come back to beat Auburn 75-39.
Close one.
That was a good one there.
Jeez.
Outscored Auburn 40-0 in the second half.
Yeah.
Tri-Valley is number 9 as they beat Fieldcrest 41-20. And number 10 is Orion as they put it to Bureau Valley 61-18. Our honorable mentions at number 11 is Aurora Christian after they lost to St. Lawrence 58-8. Just so you know, St. Lawrence is ranked number 13 in Class 6A.
Isn't even fair.
Number 12, Chicago Hope as they beat DePaul 52-6.
The high school team.
The high school team.
No football at DePaul.
13, Trenton Westland. They improved to 8-0 as they beat Breeze Central 34-25. At number 14 is Pana as they moved to 7-1 with their 54-12 win over Litchfield. And at number 15 is El Dorado. They lost last week to number 12 in Class 3A Fairfield 14-8. All right, Shane, we're going on to our Power 5. And I'll go ahead and start. At number 1, I have Lena Winslow. At number 2, Forreston. At number 3, Dakota. Number 4, I moved up the Stockton Blackhawks with that win over Ackwood. And coming back into my Power 5 are the Missiles of Milledgeville.
Yeah, rightfully so. I think I got the same Power 5 as you do, except at the top I have Forreston instead of Lena Winslow. Obviously, Lena Winslow will be my number 2 team, followed by Dakota at number 3. I think I had them there last week already.
Yep.
Number 4 would be Stockton, as you did, with number 5 being Milledgeville. Time to move them on in after Ackwood falls to Stockton last week.
So that is going to bring some changes to our panel Power 5 as well. And our panel Power 5 will go as such. At number 1 is Lena Winslow. Number 2 is Forreston. Number 3 is Dakota. Number 4 is Stockton, and number 5 is Milledgeville. Okay, so that gives you a look at where we see the Class 1A and Class 2A state rankings, along with our NUIC Power 5. Shane, we should see some good games going on this week, obviously. Going into Week 9, you got the last push for the playoffs. You got some good conference games going on. We have 2 state-ranked teams squaring off for a potential tie for the conference championship in Dakota and Lena Winslow. And then you even got another big game on the other side with Ackwood and Milledgeville as well. Downstate, there's some other games that will be taking place. I know Athens has to play Williamsville. Both of those teams are obviously ranked in state. That conference title will be on the line. Williamsville is the heavy favorite right now, but we'll see what happens.
Right. Realistically, anytime you get to a Week 9 and you're playing for the conference championship and it hasn't been decided at that point, that's always really what you strive for, in my opinion. The Northwest was probably decided in Week 2 or whatever, but on paper, Week 9, just the way you'd like to have it. So,
yeah, I can't disagree more because, like you said, those big matchups are crucial to what you want to see going into a Week 9 matchup. And it is, like you said, great when a conference title is on the line in the last week of the season. So get out to the ball games this week. It'll be a lot of fun, especially coming into Week 9. The bubble teams trying to make the playoffs. And, of course, playoff positioning in the balance as well. So get out, watch the games. As always, root for the NUIC.